the Vayne and the Bard banned out by LYON, Cassiopeia and Trundle banned away by HLE, and now that we're on to Game 4, it's always these last 2 games in a best of 5 that really start to feel the pressure of Fearless. This is where the pools finally start to get tight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Olaf is something we have seen as an answer, so I think that is an option, so HLE have to just discuss it. Are they okay just playing whatever into it? Okay, they're going to pick Jayce for sure. There's no way I feel like you give Zeus the Jayce. I think they just have too much respect for him on that champ. I would be shocked. If they do, then maybe they go the Olaf. But I just think that matchup does not look easy, and Zeus is such a beast on it. This makes a lot of sense. And now, does Zeus go for the Olaf that we've seen a couple times here, or does he not want to kind of bet his tournament life on a pick like that?
And I feel like there's so much history here. You think back throughout what's like 15 years of Pro League of Legends now, NA Jayce being a meme for so long, going up against Zeus, one of the best Korean top laners, period. And he's the one who will now go up against that NA Jayce, and we'll see if Dhokla can pilot it. But HLE, instead, they are going to prioritize some serious lane power for bottom. Last game, remember Berserker and Isles were 2v2 killing them at level 2. This time around, Caitlyn Karma has some presence.
But it's also not the style that we've seen from HLE, right? Like the whole talking point coming into this tournament was Delight now on Engage, Delight actually being able to roam, Delight having that impact. Now he's not bad by any means on the Enchanters, but falling back to what they had in the regular season is not what I expected coming into this Game 4.
Is it going to be Camille Mel here? Are they willing to bet on that? There's been a lot of criticism of, Camille, of course, or Pyke or something like that they could go towards. Blitz would be pretty crazy. I think it is a Mel bot for Berserker, which I want to see if he's ever played it in his career. It's the Pyke, so they are bringing it out. There has been so many questions about Isles' ability to play on a pick like this. The Camille game against TSW was much better, but his Pyke game was a bit of a disaster. You know, was not looking comfortable on it whatsoever. And you have a very hard to execute first 3. You're playing Jayce, you're playing Pyke, and you're playing it against some of the best players in the entire world.
To be fair to Isles, though, the first Camille game, not so hot. Second Camille game, significantly better. Pyke number 2 could be a lot better this time around as well, and especially with lanes to play around like this Jayce, that could be it.
The first Mel game in Berserker's career could be the one that clinches him the greatest performance of his career if they are able to take down HLE, but the pressure is on, and the question is, how comfortable are you on these champs, given that we haven't seen a single stage game of it from him, and the only Pyke game we've seen from Isles went very, very poorly.
To be fair, though, I've been impressed with Berserker when he's on the Zig, so definitely feels comfortable on the mages, and especially if it can open up this ability to move around, because I think Inspired definitely would have liked a helping hand in the last one when Kanavi was invading his jungle, and with the Naafiri on the opposite side here, I feel like that's going to be the game plan again for HLE here.
I mean, it's going to be so interesting because I agree he's been great on the Zigs, but one of the things about the Zigs is you have the inherent safety of the satchel, right? Mel does not have that, and I think Naafiri can be a problem for a champion like Mel. There's not that much to reflect that's going to really save you in a lot of these situations. And it is Cassante. I wonder if they'll ban out the Olaf as well. Are they even concerned about it?
The other thing I'm even more surprised by, Lissandra ban from HLE. Not a champion that has been very relevant in a while, but they will also ban out St. Silas.
Interesting. So clearly, Lissandra to me says you want to go playmaking, right? I think about LeBlanc.
Yeah.
But then Silas, I don't feel like is that terrifying for the LeBlanc, so that's why I'm a little bit confused by it. There's also not really any good ults to steal yet at all on the HLE side. Maybe it's like a protection ban for something that they're going to go later on, and they know that, hey, like if we go X, then he would want to take the Silas. But those two bans feel like they're going in different directions.
It may be the Twisted Fate is something they're also looking at in the mid lane. So like you try and go for the TPs, Lissandra can't interrupt you, that kind of style, but still feels a little odd. But no, just going for a bit more stock standard here.
All right, Aurora locked in 1-7 so far here at this MSI for this champion. Has not seen a whole lot of success so far, but remember, this is also still a flex pick.
And also, remember, the Scion was 0-9. They won with that, right? You know, it does not indicate that they are going to be getting a free ride here by any means. Zeka is a beast on this champ. I do like the Wukong. I think it is a powerful team fight champion into this. Annie makes a lot of sense as well, gives you some engage, is a pretty good matchup into the Aurora.
The only other thing I'm questioning is maybe a Pantheon, because the idea of, hey, we've got early access to the map, level 3, level 4, work with this Pyke to try and make plays, exactly, but we'll have to see. And yeah, it looks like that might be the call here to try and match the Naafiri presence as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like both the Pantheon and the Wukong. I'd be pretty happy either way. The big question on everyone's mind is going to be, what will Zeus bet their series on here? To me, I'm still thinking about that Olaf. There is angles for things like Malphite, and you can go really kind of more out of left field, things that are more like solo queue answers in towards the Jayce. There's Aurelia and some of these more aggressive picks that sometimes people like to bring out, but
you just lack so much engage though on HLE side. You've got decent poke here, so I think maybe that could be it. Like, try and go for something that has that engage.
Pick, why would you save it, right? That's the thing that's making it hard. It could actually be Aurora top. I think it's Aurora top.
I called the flex.
Yeah, so I think it is going to be Aurora top. I think it's going to be Swain mid, so they are moving things around. I think Swain is a tough pick to answer, but it could also be, you know, both. I mean, right now, Zeus is the one who is in control of this. Either way, there is, you know, pretty short range champion in the Annie. There's two of these kind of playmaking champions like the Pantheon and the Pyke. And you're going to have to try to be fighting through this Swain, who's going to be buffed up by the Karma. Kind of similar style to like almost those Bruisers plus Enchanters.
Still haven't seen the swap come through yet, though.
So I think he's just going to play it top.
Yeah, so I think I would have preferred in the mid lane, though.
Me too.
The never move, sure, if you can connect with it, does mean the Jayce comes in range, but Jayce never really wants to be up close and personal with the Swain anyway, so I think you should be able to try and dodge away.
I mean, I think the one thing I will say is that, you know, if you ever are fishing with the never move in a matchup like this as Swain, then he goes hammer form and you get slammed, right?
Yeah.
You know, you have to kind of whittle away at it. I'm seeing it more than ever move as a response to a hammer form Q. If he's jumping forward, you throw out the E, maybe pull him back. You know, you can drop the defensive W, so he's jumping into that. You know, getting those souls is both really big in the lane because you're getting the heal, but it's also really big for actually stacking HP for Swain later on. If you're not able to get any access towards souls, if they just kind of don't interact with you, you're a lot less tanky in the team fights later on, but just not a ton of consistent damage on the side of LYON, which I think is where the idea of the Swain is coming from.
Exactly. Just drain tank through it. Unless you get insta-gib, you're going to survive for a very long time. Here we go. Hanwha Life eSports, their life on the line here in this game. Win, and you go to Silver Scrapes. Lose, and your MSI journey ends just short of the finals.
And that would be an absolute shock here. MSI in Korea, T1 shockingly knocked out by G2. If both of their teams were knocked out, it would be a repeat of first stand where we saw, you know, G2 taking out both those LCK teams. But to lose both of your seeds in best of fives to Western teams back-to-back tournaments would be unheard of.
Especially when you look at, like, again, the amount of world champions that are on this team. They want to try and add that MSI into the mix. We're even talking about, like, Zeus and Gumayusi fighting with Viper to be the first players to have all the trophies, those 3 across the year, in their trophy cabinet. To now step out at this stage, honestly, unspeakable when we started coming into this tournament.
Dhokla, great sidestep there from Zeus, and he has actually hit 3 Qs in a row now on Dhokla, and Dokla's going to be in trouble. He's out of potions, and Zeus is going for level 2. Dokla's going to have to base, I think. That is a bit of a disaster for Dhokla. His Shock Blast gets sidestepped, and he's not able to sidestep any of those little laser hands coming out there from Zeus, and he goes W to even delay the base, so being very annoying, and now trying to make sure he gets this wave in, but I think Dhokla with the push now coming in is just going to get some of that XP.
Yep, Dhokla leveling up to 2, so he'll get a little bit of extra stats for that, get a little bit of extra health, does not want to miss out on this wave. Solar Snare collides on the Gumayusi, and the Bone Skewer's ready to follow it. Isles goes in for the stun, forcing the flash out of the HLE AD carry.
And that's Cleanse gone as well, that's Heal gone as well. That is a lot of tools, and now Guma, you want to play pushing when you are playing Caitlyn Karma. You've got no sums here. Inspired could visit later on. It's going to be so much harder for them to actually push, and imagine he gets caught here.
Nope, not quite, not quite. You can see this is the 3rd time the LCS has ever taken 2 games off of the LCK. Previously, hold on, let's see if Delight can make the move on to Saint. Roam does get the flash out of the LYON mid laner, and that's going to make Saint very vulnerable.
So Delight using that small window that he had as Gumayusi had to reset to move towards mid. Only level 2, so didn't have access to the tether, but it does burn that summoner spell. So we've got many lanes that these junglers will be looking at now.
Yeah, and Dhokla, thankfully for him, Zeus shoved in that wave, expecting the base, so he picked up enough, was able to get back here to lane. He's going to be looking to push it in and reset one more time, though, and does have the support behind him.
Yeah, but that first purchase for Dhokla does not feel good. Refillable potion being the only thing you can add to inventory. So yes, the support roam from Isles going to be critical for getting this wave crashed in.
Exactly. That's all he's looking to do is just reset that wave one more time, with a better buy here. As Inspired looking for the re-invade. They do have the push, and they have Pyke on this side of the map.
Yep, Isles is making his way over. Inspired does steal away the big chicken, as Isles will find Kanavi about to face check into him, into the brush here. Saint trading with Zeka in mid lane at the same time. They want to make the move on to Kanavi. He goes over the wall, he stays alive. Isles still chasing, but there's no more damage, ready to go. Inspired used his flash there. Kanavi used his own. Flash for flash. Kanavi's forced out of the jungle. And now Zeus hanging on up here in the top lane. Dhokla is very low on mana, but wave. Inspired, he has all of the charges there in his passive. Dokla's going to just try to use the to the skies, get this wave shoved up as fast as possible. Allow LYON to try to make the play here. Meanwhile, down to the bottom lane, Solar Snare coming out from Berserker, trying to keep himself safe, reflects the headshot, does take a chunk of damage, but up here in the top lane now, it's Zeus going to be your target. They jump in for the Pantheon stun, they get the damage. Zeus is down, Kanavi wanted to come in and try to help his top laner, but instead, Kanavi gets one back. Beautifully done, as Call of the Pack gets him away. LYON gets a trade back again. It's a double kill for Kanavi. Isles flashes in to get the jungler, trades his own life for it, and it's 2 for 2 in the top side.
It's 2 for 2, but Zeus ends up losing a ton of minions to that tower. Ends up falling down when it comes towards the gold. Is trying to shove in that top end as quickly as possible to make, actually he's just going to hold the wave to make sure that you can try and snowball that back a little bit, but it is a win, honestly, for Dhokla.
It's a big win for Dhokla there. He gets the kill. Kanavi does get a couple kills, but also credit to Berserker staying safe in that bot lane. He was in a 1v2 that entire time. The Karma never moved, and Berserker is staying dead even.
And this is the reason why we've seen this kind of transition to the mages bot lane. They're incredibly good at being able to solo clear out waves, and then you're able to get the solo XP as well. So you end up having a little bit of advantage there, but hang on, Isles fishing for Zeus.
Yep, Isles trying to make a play before Zeus has the demonic ascension ready to go. They drop the ignite, and Zeus is killed a second time. Kanavi wants to get one back in the dark, and Dagger will do just that. Kanavi with a return kill onto Dhokla, and the game stays tied 3-3.
Kanavi again, back-to-back games, putting on a clinic here. It feels like 800 gold lead for him, but credit to Isles, who has been playing well. They're looking for a dive.
Yep, Delight trying to facilitate Kanavi, getting yet another kill. Isles tries to get away, gets a good stun. Delight's gonna die to the turret. Yes, Isles will fall, but again, it's 1 for 1. 8 kills on the board, 6 minutes into the game.
Isles, I apologize for doubting you, because he's playing a great game so far, it feels like, on the Pyke.
But the guard dog for the birdhouse is kind of taking over right now. 4-1 for Kanavi.
Yep.
He is huge on this Naafiri. We saw him get a lead in the last game, but this pick has way more damage in the tank and can assassinate so many of the key members of LYON.
It really can, but at the same time, it is a very fragile pick. You're not going to see Kanavi in the middle of the entire team tanking up all the CC that he did in the last time. And you look at point-and-click CC from Inspired, Tibbers point-and-click CC from Saint, and so much burst. So he has got to be perfect with his Call of the Pack. If he can immune those key spells, he can take over. But one misstep, one stun, could be lights out.
All right, let's check in on the rest of the map since, never mind, okay, we don't have time. Demonic Ascension coming out from Zeus. Delight makes his roam up here into the top side, looking to help Dhokla out, but Inspired has arrived here for the ulti. Zeus and Delight getting themselves away. That is heal and flash from Delight. No summoner spells used by the LYON side.
The small slow was enough to keep Inspired out of range of Zeus, but Isles still fishing up here. Naafiri on the way as well. I think LYON just want to make sure that Dhokla can get the reset safely, and he will do just that.
Yeah, exactly. And Isles, has that gold lead. It is actually pretty significant for Pyke. When you get this early gold, the amount of damage you can put out matters a lot in these early fights. Bursting people low enough in combination with the Anni. It's all about the resets. It's all about that first kill for LYON. They want to get someone low, get the Pyke ult, take him out quick, and try to snowball the fights.
And also with those kills, he's been able to keep up an experience. The line has been much more situated down towards that bot side at the get-go, but now Isles accelerated as well, can get towards that level 6, which adds so much depth to that. Plus, that Ignite is so good against Zeus. Like, trying to keep him from healing up is going to be crucial, and if he goes low health, that's where that depth from below becomes so valuable.
Both supports hanging out up here yet again as Kanavi is first up into the top side. Dhokla to the skies, trying to get himself away, but Kanavi, he's got the damage, and he keeps himself alive with Call the Pack. HLE coming out on top.
Dhokla hitting back pretty hard there. Would have had him if it wasn't for Delight being in the back pocket, but Kanavi, another kill here. 5 now to his name.
Ooh, Isles goes in for the Bone Skewer, interrupts Kanavi's recall, but it's not like he can threaten anything lethal here.
And look at bot lane, no one answering that right now. Zeus had that push.
The Bone Skewer, though, does give Inspired time on the Void Grove, so all 3, it looks like, going to be going across. A little bit of damage there towards Isles. But now, as you say, Dhokla matching bot wave. So LYON kind of getting the map back, but it is that small gold lead, mostly off the back of Kanavi here for HLE.
And that is all 3 grubs for LYON. As you called out, you know, the interrupt on that recall from Kanavi allows Inspired time to get that. Inspired obviously very far behind as he was last game, but still, he's within touching distance of experience, though he is very far down in gold, so much more relevant than he was in the last one here. And Isles now level 5. As he gets that level 6, it is going to be critical.
So what they're doing at the moment is LYON shifting Berserker down because he has the level advantage over Dhokla to try and interact with the Dragon. They saw Gumayusi in the top side, so Dhokla, knowing he'll be okay to catch this wave without too many shenanigans, is going to try and do so. But HLE not feeling confident to start up this objective, just getting the vision down and waiting to see if they can find a pick, maybe on Berserker in the side lane.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do that. They do have a ton of vision around that Dragon, though. You can see the entire area littered with HLE wards, so they will have full info on anything they're trying to do, as Isles and Saint are here and matched by Kanavi.
All right, 5-4 for HLE with control over this bot side river. It's another slow Dragon game, but very understandably so with how much attention has been in the top lane.
HLE should try and start this now, though. Zeus has matched Dhokla on the top side. He has that teleport to try and join in if they need to. And you can see Kanavi already comfortable to try and make that play. Saint just trying to get some poke onto Zeka in the mid lane. But curious to see if they do push Zeka back. Does Saint just walk up towards this top side? It's a big wave, and you got the Pantheon to cover as well.
Yep, that might be the play, but it looks like Inspired and Saint both going to go for a recall instead. They know that Zeus is underneath his turret. Diving Swain, even with a numbers advantage, can be very difficult. It's super dangerous. Meanwhile, back in bottom lane, Berserker just reflects the inner flame back towards Delight. Bone Skewer from Isles. That flash was not what he was hoping for.
No, it's a bit of a swing and a miss there. Tried to go for the big play. Delight was missing his flash. That's why he sends it. Because if he catches Delight there, Delight is dead to rights. You get stunned up, you get rooted up, you get burst down, but they're looking for Jayce.
Speaking of dead to rights, Dhokla trying to get away again. Sidesteps Vision of Empire, but Kanavi lands the first Darkened Dagger. Dhokla with a sidestep there in the second. Never move, finds no target. Dhokla jumps back in, and it forces the demonic ascension from Zeus, excuse me, crisscrossing my top laners here as Big Dokes gets the outplay. Inspired down here in the bottom lane yet again, trying to find some sort of a move. Delight and Gumayusi staying away for now. Isles eats a massive amount of pain there from Gumayusi. The Caitlyn warding away this attempted play from LYON.
So both side laners going to breathe a breath of relief there. Dhokla not having to burn the flash is crucial because he manages to keep himself safe in the side lane. And also the turnaround onto Isles means that HLE's bot lane will live to fight another day.
Yeah, they absolutely will. That was so critical from Guma, being able to trap up Isles, get him low, being able to force out that Aegis assault early from Inspired. Otherwise, I thought they were going to get dove. And Dhokla also getting the ult off of Zeus quite big as well. You know, that was a bit of a misstep. He thought he was in with a chance there, but stepped into tower range and does have to use that ult as a result. Has his Rylai's now completed, so it was just rushing towards that. That is a big one. It makes it so much harder to actually kite out the ult from Swain, which keeps that thing chugging along.
And one thing that I also think is very important here, Inspired with his Sundered Sky now done. We talked about how accelerated Kanavi is as the owner of all 5 kills on HLE, but it's 1 fully completed item to 1 in the jungle.
Oz did just get spotted going into that bush. You can see the pings from Zeus. The invisibility not quite getting him into that third bush, so immediately Zeus backs away, and it may set up HLE to try and look for a play. Now they know where the support is.
Yup, Saint's going to be your target. Zeka goes in between worlds. Kanavi thinks about it, but he doesn't want to dive towards Saint, who has the Tibbers ready to go.
Exactly, and if you dive to that side, that's where Inspired was, and they knew that because Kanavi was coming from the bottom side of the map, so they're not sure how close he is.
Niles stepping forward here, sees Zeka, does not want to try to do anything crazy. Saint is still very hurt. Inspired jumps in with the ulti, going in after Kanavi, tries to take the enemy jungler low. The root from Delight, but he flashes over the wall. Now Zeka's trying to make some sort of a play. Kanavi barely survives. Zeka doing the same. X marks the spot where Zeka's buried in the mid lane. LYON get a 1-for-0. They're looking for a little bit more, but they will not find it. Just the single kill play from LYON.
Yeah, very narrowly avoided the death onto Kanavi, which was big. The shield came in from Karma to absorb that ultimate coming through there from Berserker. Dhokla has the eyes on it. A little bit slow on the shock blast, but...
It is very nice of LYON to take the training weights off of Isles, though, in the Pyke, because he has been insane in this game. Catching on the edge of that death from below as well. Setting up for that other kill, keeping this game within touching distance. Like 800 gold with how much action we've had is absolutely insane.
I mean, I've just been blown away by Isles this whole series. The Poppy game was incredible. His engages have been so stellar throughout the series across, a bunch of different styles of picks. He is right place, right time. His Melio, it didn't feel like he set a foot wrong. He's been really playing brilliantly.
And I think he's feeling himself. Like, the fact that we have Isles Pyke versus Delight's Karma is the exact opposite of what I would have expected coming into this game for. And I think it has been a major turning point for LYON in this game.
And I mean,
once again, Saint's going to be the target, but he gets away in time.
I mean, one of the coolest things, people have talked a lot about Dhokla. He is an amazing story and should be talked about a lot. But Isles also kind of goes under the radar as this player who was honestly stuck on bottom teams for such a long time. And there's so many players who have come through the league. You spend a couple splits on a bottom team. You can never really shine as a result. And then you're bounced out of the league. He gets a shot on LYON. And people were doubting it. People were saying, well, why did they get Isles with these two MVPs in Berserker and Inspired? He has made the most of this opportunity.
Dhokla using the Ghost Blade now to get some distance between himself and the approaching HLE collapse. Inspired and Dhokla both backing away from what would have been a 3 versus 2. Important to note, 10 seconds until the Rift Herald, 15 seconds until the next Drake spawns. So we will have that interesting situation where neutral objectives are available at both sides of the map at the same time.
And it does feel like we're kind of getting that cross map, right? Isles is doing a good job of getting deep vision on this top end. I don't really feel like HLE are in a position to contest this, especially as you can see Kanavi realizing that, just going to go take the dragon for himself. I imagine Inspired will start to shift over towards that other objective in just a couple of moments.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of the LYON classic, right? They love playing the side lanes. They love prioritizing gold. They have done it all year long in NA. They're very willing to give up a couple dragons and try to build a gold lead elsewhere. And they see that as a very worthy objective. I will say Mountain Soul goes crazy in this game for both teams. There is so much upfront burst on both compositions. When you're thinking about Aurora, Naafiri, you're thinking about Pyke, you're thinking about Anni and Pantheon and Jayce. It is going to be so devastating for either side if they can claim Soul.
We're not actually getting the response on the objective from LYON. There is a ward for HLE on the Rift Herald, and there is pings going down. So despite the vision, LYON wanted to reset before they really look for this objective. Zeka in trouble though.
Yup, immediately pulling the boat to a flash for the dive as Isles makes the kill. But now he and Saint are ready for the teleport to arrive. HLE trying to find a counterplay as Inspired meets Kanavi in the tri-brush. Zeus in the middle of 3 trying to tank with a demonic ascension, but instead he finds himself dead alongside his ally. Both solo laners on HLE eliminated as LYON finds a 2,000 gold lead. They're not done yet. Isles, Saint, and Dhokla still hanging around. Kanavi with 1/3 HP. Bone Skewer misses. Isles won't get anything more, but a 3,000 gold lead for LYON. Gumayusi taken down to 300 HP there from the Golden Eclipse. Berserker still trying to get away, breaks the tether. Here's your ace in the hole. Berserker just takes the damage. Fine for now. Zeka coming in, looks to get the kill. Solar Snare to lock him up. Flash of the wall. Berserker evades the counterattack.
Huge plays across the map, and they grab the Herald off the back of that. And the man from down under, Isles, is burying HLE in this game. 5-2-2. This is an unreal performance, especially after that previous series. His E-flash there was picture perfect. At the last moment that he could have actually gotten the redirection, he finds it beautifully.
Yeah, he's hanging those pictures up in Zeus's head. Like, he has made himself very comfortable in there because he has just been existing continuously in this top side, trying to make sure he can find these plays. You can see Zeka here on this, doesn't know that Oz is there, and it's just perfect.
Exactly. He lands the bone skewer from the brush. Last time you pointed out he had been spotted. Look at this. He goes to the side, E-flash, redirect, Tibbers, ignite, ult, and the reset is so critical because it means they have the damage to burst through this Swain. We can see the Naafiri on the side was being pushed back by Inspired. He matched the play. He played on vision. Kanavi face-checked him, got pushed back easily, and they get another kill. And remember, every Pyke ult, that is additional gold. That is not one kill. That is double gold that you are getting with that coin.
And you can see it respectfully in both the solo laners. 1.4k gold, 1.7k for Saint on this Anni. He is going to blow someone up in these fights.
And it's starting to feel like the pressure is really on HLE. This is the team that was expected to have an easy win. This is the team that was expected to be in the finals against BLG, to be going back for that rematch. This is a team that is playing at home with the expectations of their region on their shoulders.
Both of these teams, their only series loss in this tournament so far is to the team waiting in finals. They've both only lost to BLG. And man, what a performance from LYON here in the game number 4 as Inspired's in the enemy jungle, wants to jump in after Kanavi. Dives away there with a call of the pack. LYON steal away the red buff. Sidestepping the vision of Empire. Delight here with a tether as Dhokla wants to try to turn it around. Kanavi wants to get away. Dhokla's very low. Zeus with a massive demonic ascension. LYON is forced back, but a nice never move. Saint has to flash out. LYON in serious danger. Zeka's on the flank, and it's a shutdown over to Zeus. Kanavi gets another, and HLE just killed 3.
LYON tried to push the advantage, and HLE tripped them up as they go for it. An overextension in the top side leads to a 3-0 for HLE.
And Zeus is coming up huge here. LYON trying to push in, trying to pressure. They sidestep that Vision of Empires. They are able to get out, but watch as they go back in here. The ult gets popped, Kanavi flashes back, and then the critical moment here, Saint arrives, dies without using anything. He onto the trap, no Tibbers, no W, no Q, literally no spell press there. If he had dropped the Tibbers, even getting trapped up, I feel like there's enough damage coming out that they have a shot in the fight. But Saint arrives, does not use a single button, and they get punished massively.
Because all of that burst was used just before Saint arrived. They tried to kill Kanavi, they tried to kill everyone else, but that meant there was nothing left when Zeus popped that demonic ascension. He was a raid boss in the front line, and it holds the line for HLE here.
Next dragon about to spawn. HLE already owned the first 2, and the lead that LYON spent 20 minutes building has now evaporated. The game is at an even state, and it comes down to execution. Kanavi jumps back over the wall with Eviscerate as LYON step forward to clear out some of the vision to try to prevent HLE from securing Soul Point.
LYON in this position, though, is very hard to scoot out. Good vision control, multiple angles of attack. If you don't know where Isles is, that setup could be brutal. So HLE looks like maybe, oh, hang on, they go trying on to Berserker, but Dhokla's going top lane.
Yeah, they're wondering if they're not actually going to be able to fight this. Dhokla does have his TP, so he could join if they want to go for it, but they've ceded control, and now there's a trap line, and there's no rebuttal on Berserker. This could be tough.
Yup, walking into a Caitlyn team that has first move when an objective is incredibly difficult, so LYON's going to say no. Instead, they summon up the Rift Herald here in mid, they get the charge into the turret, but they won't fully kill the structure. HLE, Soul Point now for a Mountain Soul in this game that you already said it earlier, Azael, would be a massive power spike.
I mean, Emily talked about it on the desk yesterday. LYON ceding control of objectives to get more gold, to get into a better position. But this is risky. Inspire said they like to play risky against these teams, but how far are you willing to push the envelope? Because that Mountain Soul could change everything here.
LYON has showed us they are willing to push it all the way to the edge. They are willing to go all in and bet the game on one fight here. And they have the faith that they can get it done. That top lane fight by the red buff cost them massively. They were going to be in such a good spot for this third dragon, but they didn't like their odds, missing critical flashes there, and I feel like that is the biggest reason that they decided to back off.
You're going up against the man who used to be known as the King of Thieves, though. Kanavi was incredible when it came towards the Snipes back when he was in the LPL, and now 6-1-2 on this Naafiri. He called for a carry in this game, and he's done it before in the past. When he was down game 5 against T1, he wanted the Belveth, he wanted to be the carry. This time around, elimination once more on the line at Internationals. Kanavi needs to be the carry for HLE.
Okay, once again, the Bone Skewer looking for a target, not going to find anything valuable. All the little Naafiri dogs get blasted, but the big dog still doing just fine. LYON with a 1,500 gold lead, but HLE with 3 Drakes worth of bonus stats, that doesn't mean anything. And critically, 2,000 gold here. The lead for Kanavi, he's very, very soon going to have that Death's Dance you can see he's building towards. And in your coin-based gold grind, Isles has at least been doing a good job on the LYON side, getting ahead and making plays.
Yes, they're going to go, though.
Down here in the bottom side, Zeus is your target. Saint, Inspired, and Isles working together to take down the Swain. Meanwhile, up here in the top lane, Dhokla's going to get dove in a 1v2, and he dies as well. Both top laners, the targets for the enemy hit squad.
Nice pick on either side. You can feel how tense it is, and now LYON want to move in towards this mid lane.
Yep, the wave getting cleared away, but not fast enough. Inspired, stepping forward to tank the turret. One more auto attack gets it done, and LYON are up to a 2,500 gold lead.
So you're still going to get the advantage here for LYON. They get the mid tower, they will get the bot tower, and at least a little bit of gold back in their favor. And you can see how much burst this Anni Pantheon combo has. Like, Swain, incredibly strong at the moment, but they're still able to get through that health bar.
They absolutely are, and Swain, though, is going to be building towards a Zhonya's third, I would bet, right?
Yeah.
And that is where things get really, really difficult, right? Where you have to then be able to kill him before he pops that Zhonya's. He's going to keep healing during it, and you have to decide, do we have the damage to do it, or do you have to ignore the Swain? If you ignore the Swain and he does too much damage to you, that can go really bad. So it's a hard decision to make, but LYON have just been walking this line, it feels like, all game long. Berserker has not really been involved in anything in this one, but is pretty strong here alongside Guma.
But I do think you have the range to play with online, right? Like, look for the poke with the Jayce, with the Mel. Just don't really give that opportunity for HLE to find the all-in. And if they do, it's into Saint. You can try and backpedal away from Zeus. I think that's where they can try and play out these fights.
Yeah, I would completely agree, and it's going to come down to execution. I feel like at this dragon, you must be there first. It is very difficult to enter in to a Jayce and a Mel that are set up, but likewise, it is very difficult to walk in when you don't see Aurora and there's a trap line. You don't know where they are. You could lose the game.
And let me bring you gentlemen back to game number 1. Remember, it was a Gumayusi diff, and here in this game, other than Kanavi, he's the other player on HLE who has an individual lead. He's got his Hex Optics, he's got his Infinity Edge, and now his jungler's looking to make a play on Dhokla. Kanavi gets stunned up, he's taken very low, and they end up killing him here with Isles execution. Zeus in the middle of everybody here with Demonic Ascension, he's staying alive, he's tanking so much. Saint's gonna be killed 1-for-1 trade overall so far. Gumayusi going in after Dhokla, and he finds the kill. Inspired takes delight with them, but it's a double kill back over to Zeka. HLE are killing everybody. Berserker tries to flash away, but he falls. HLE with a critical team fight. 30 seconds before the soul.
Kanavi overextends, but Zeus has his back. HLE find the fight that they want. Dhokla stepping forward, Kanavi jumps onto him, and it's the immediate invulnerability into the stun that baits LYON in, but Zeus has never moved. Onto Saint, onto Isles, pulls them into the death grip, and it's that just machine churning through that lets HLE bring it back.
Exactly, I mean, they get that first kill onto Kanavi, but you've spent all your cooldowns, and now they're back here on the dragon. Inspired does have his ult. Will he try to send it?
Berserker is not even alive right now. HLE putting the work in on the Drake. They're going to burn it down before LYON's able to do anything. Isles just killed at the very start. Inspired ults in, but it's into his own demise. Surely the Mountain Soul is claimed. LYON is routed, and HLE are on the hunt. Inspired will die next. He wants to take Zeka with him, but he loses his Guardian Angel for free instead. HLE, at the time when they had to clutch up most, they do just that, they earn the Dragon Soul. They kill off 3, and HLE are feeling good.
It was supposed to be an uphill battle, but HLE says there's still more mountain to climb. They will not give up in Game 4. LYON will have to push them the distance.
HLE get the soul. They're going to get the Baron. They have taken full control of this game. LYON decided it was worth sending it to try to deny the soul there. They weren't able to do it.
Now Berserker under pressure from Zeka here in this bottom lane. Yeah, Solar Snare hits. Radiant Volley isn't gonna do it. Zeka with a 1v1.
Zeka continuing to find plays, continuing to rub salt in the wound of LYON as the soul went over.
And the setup here was all there for HLE. They had the extra members. Isles trying to look for an angle in this MasterCard priceless moment of the game. Can't find anything. He dies in a hurry. Dhokla knows he's got to try to send it on to Guma, who had no flash. He felt that was maybe the only way in, but he doesn't have anywhere close to the damage. Inspire can do nothing. Saint and Berserker can do nothing. And it feels like this one is definitely slipping away from LYON.
Zeus took the Swain. Kanavi continued to play towards the bird in the top, and there is very little that LYON can now do to get Zeus down.
And it all goes back to that fight at the HLE red buff. Up until then, LYON was running the show. But against a team like HLE, against the LCK's #1 seed, if you make one misstep, they are going to punish. Dhokla trying to push into the HLE base right now, but it's HLE with the Baron. It's HLE with that extra pushing power for the next minute and a half that are just bulldozing through the base of LYON. They've already made their way onto the Nexus turrets. Gumayusi setting down some traps. LYON looking for the moment to possibly defend. Zeus taking the recall to go back and defend against Dhokla's push. HLE are not done yet. They've already claimed the bottom inhibitor. Now they're looking to go even further. Saint eats the ace in the hole as well as the Between Worlds. HLE have already taken Nexus turret #1. Now they're trying to get themselves out. Isles is low, but he is not dead. Inspired's first to die. Berserker here on the front line. He dies next. HLE will not go quietly into the night. They will find their win. They will take us to Silver Scrapes.
Inspired versus the LCK. Could it end up in Game 5 any other way? An insane performance from HLE as the desk is going to break it down.
HLE say